Who killed Laura Palmer? This simple yet haunting question launched Twin Peaks into television history in 1990. While the show's surreal storytelling, dream logic, and bizarre twists captivated audiences, Laura herself became a symbol, her homecoming photo a pop culture icon, her tragic death the core of a tantalizing mystery. Decades later, Laura Palmer remains a recognizable figure, her image adorning merchandise and fan tributes. But in all this admiration, have we overlooked what Laura's story was meant to reveal? Laura Palmer, a life reduced to a mystery. At its heart, Twin Peaks is not just a murder mystery but a meditation on the darkness lurking beneath idyllic facades. David Lynch has famously described his vision of Middle America as a world of white picket fences, cherry trees, and sunshine, all concealing something sinister. Laura Palmer's story perfectly embodies this duality. Behind her small-town prom queen persona lay an unfathomable nightmare of abuse, betrayal, and exploitation. Laura was abused for years by her father, Leland Palmer, who was possessed by the evil entity known as Bob. While the show's supernatural elements added a layer of mythos to her suffering, they never erased its devastating real-world implications. Laura lived in a world where no one truly protected her, not the townspeople, her family, or even her own mother. Her tragic life highlights harsh truths about the ways society fails to protect the vulnerable, especially women. In death, however, Laura's personhood was quickly overshadowed by her role as a mystery to solve. The question, who killed Laura Palmer, dominated conversations about the show, relegating Laura's identity, struggles, and humanity to the background. Solving her murder satisfied a surface-level curiosity, but it did little to honor her life or explore the reasons behind her death. The problem with solving the mystery. Mark Frost and David Lynch famously intended Laura's killer to remain a mystery, using her death as a springboard to delve into the secrets and sins of Twin Peaks itself. However, pressured by the network, they revealed the killer midway through the second season, her father, Leland. While this revelation was horrifying and deeply tragic, it also marked a turning point where many viewers lost interest. For some fans, the resolution felt like the end of Laura's story. Once the central mystery was answered, she was no longer the focus, despite her story being far from complete. Laura was reduced to a plot device, her identity commodified, and her tragedy aestheticized. Fire Walk With Me, the uncomfortable truth of Laura's life. In 1992, Lynch released Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, a prequel film chronicling Laura's final days. The film forced audiences to confront the true horror of Laura's life, her abusive home, her struggles with addiction, and her desperate search for love and salvation. Unlike the series, which maintained a degree of surreal detachment, Fire Walk With Me plunged headfirst into Laura's raw, painful reality. Upon its release, the film was met with criticism and disappointment. Many fans wanted a continuation of the storylines left unresolved in the series, not an intense and often disturbing exploration of Laura's suffering. Yet over the years, Fire Walk With Me has gained recognition as a masterpiece, albeit a brutal one. It recentered Laura as a person rather than a plot point, offering a glimpse into her psyche and giving her story a depth the series couldn't fully explore. Still, even in Fire Walk With Me, Laura remains trapped in a cycle of objectification and exploitation. The audience gets to know her better, but only through the lens of her trauma, a reflection of the broader societal issue of reducing women to their suffering. The commodification of Laura Palmer. Today, Laura Palmer's image is everywhere from t-shirts to Tumblr aesthetics. Her story has become part of pop culture history, but it's often stripped of its emotional and thematic weight. Fans celebrate Laura's legacy, but how often do they engage with the harsh truths her story tells about systemic abuse, trauma, and the failure of communities to protect their most vulnerable members? Even in Twin Peaks, Laura's memory is commodified. The townspeople use her death as a way to absolve their own guilt, to seek forgiveness, or to gain attention. Her life and identity remain secondary to the mystery she represents, both in the narrative and in the cultural conversation around the show. Laura Palmer's true legacy. Laura Palmer is more than a symbol or a mystery to solve. She represents the darkness hiding beneath the surface of idyllic communities, the lives shattered by abuse and neglect, and the way society often chooses to ignore uncomfortable truths. Lynch's portrayal of Laura is empathetic and haunting, but it also challenges audiences to reckon with their role in perpetuating cycles of objectification and exploitation. Fans who truly honor Laura's legacy must look beyond her image to understand the pain, courage, and complexity of the girl behind the prom queen smile. In the end, the most important questions about Laura Palmer aren't who killed her or what did she know? Instead, they are who is she and why didn't anyone save her? These are questions that demand we reflect not just on the tragedy of Laura's life, but also on the real-world failures that her story symbolizes.